We are live. It is a beautiful Tuesday morning on the East Coast. It's your homeboy, Zack Miller. It's episode 12 of Zack Miller Live, the most original name of all time. I know you guys are excited because today we have our third guest on the show, Lauren Smith, who is the marketing coordinator at 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. So I went to the grocery store the other day, and this is kind of a funny story. There was literally 3 1-hour vans back to back. Now, either they were all doing their groceries at the same time, or they were fixing a major problem. Lauren, what do you think it was? Exactly. So, Lauren, you're the marketing coordinator over there. Your favorite TV show of all time?
Definitely the.
Why?
It's just so relatable. I've worked in 3 different agencies, 5 different office settings, and there's just every character on that show of someone I've worked with or am working with.
And who are you? What character are you on The Office?
I'd like to think Pam. I kind of sit back and take it all in and just everybody.
There you go. Did you marry someone from The Office too? Like a Jim Albert? No.
I on my gym.
There you go. So The Office is one of the greatest shows of all time. It's very, renowned as being a show that a lot of people watch. And so I often like to tell people, look at what other places are doing. Look what other brands or businesses are doing to get attention. And so what's something that you think that The Office did really, really well that set them apart?
They were one of the first different kind of, I guess we started in the UK, but they just had kind of the different kind of production of it. Like it was set in the view of side off interviews and just all the little things and quirks that go on that otherwise probably wouldn't be very entertaining if it was done like every other show, but they just produced it.
Yeah, I have a tendency, I don't really do this anymore, and if I get into this other thing, I'll tell you that maybe I do, but I have a very habitual mind, I guess. So if I start watching some sort of TV show, I will watch it through. So I watched The Office, 3 years ago? All the way through on Netflix in 5 days. And now there's this story of this guy who apparently Netflix actually called to make sure he was okay because he watched the whole thing in 3 or 4 days. And I was pissed when I heard that because I was like, damn, that should have been me. I watched this show so fast, but I get no credit for it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. So have you ever watched Stranger Things? What do you think about that show? Because they're kind of one of those cult followings too, right? Where people are really excited about it. But it's a topic that is odd in a way, if you think about it, because it's sci-fi. And if you were to tell people what the story is before they start watching it, these brands and movies and commercials and TV shows and businesses that actually do one thing that is not kind of to the masses, they have to kind of sell to the masses. And so it was an interesting show.
That and Black Mirror. I don't know if you've watched Black Mirror, but that's another one that people will talk about it, and then the only thing, I can't go into it. You just have to go watch it.
Yeah.
And then everyone's talking about it.
So I've been going to the gym and I ride this bike. There's this machine. It kind of reminds me of a Peloton. You've probably seen those commercials. Mm-hmm. And it's called Expresso, E-X-Presso. And it's these bikes that you then do these workouts with, whatever. But the machine doesn't have a TV. So I get bored. And so I'm all right, I'm going to download a movie, or I'm going to download some sort of TV show and do it. So the first thing I downloaded was some Lance Armstrong documentary, which I thought was so funny at the same time. Here I am watching this crook do all this stuff.
Inspired.
Or maybe he's not a crook, of course, himself, whatever, who cares. But so I'm doing that, and then I'm like, man, what else am I going to watch? Because I've been doing 30 minutes to an hour and a half on the bike. I can get a lot of episodes in. And so I started watching Stranger Things. And of course, I watched it super quick. It was interesting. But I remember when people were pitching it to me, I didn't want to watch it because I don't like sci-fi and stuff like that. But they hook you so quickly with non-sci-fi stuff that then it's kind of acceptable.
Well, all the nostalgia too, yeah.
Sure. And I think there's something about high school and growing up that are hard times with people, and these kind of shows that bring people our age back to those kind of times to think about what was that experience that I went through. And so I don't know, that I just feel like is so personal and really hits home where people then want to talk about it. And then I was watching this or reading something about Netflix, and they're actually creating this content to binge. Like they want people to watch that over and over and over and again. And so,
and can they cut out that little thing that asks, like, put that on a personal setting? Like, let me watch 10 episodes without checking on me.
do they do that?
They should have it personalized because it is annoying to, like, after 3 or 4 episodes, that little thing pops up.
Oh, saying like go to the next episode?
Well, no, saying, do you want to continue? Like, how can I binge if you're not letting me?
I've never seen that. Maybe it's because of the way I'm watching it. Are you watching it on a computer or something, or a TV?
TV.
That's probably why, right? So they're probably not clicking it through. Or on the
Maybe.
computer, they're doing that. So knowing that you're a marketing coordinator and have worked with a lot of different brands over the years, what are some strategies that people can do to get their consumer base or their prospects to binge watch them or binge consume them?
I think number one, to binge and make sure you're like reaching those people, and then be passionate about what it is that they like about you. I mean, latch on to what they want.
Well, how do you figure that out? How do you figure out what they want?
And I guess I've worked with a handful of established brands, but like they want comfort, and it's they definitely come to us in the winter and the summer, but it's kind of, you got to not be shy and you got to get in their face and talk to them and kind of remind them what you do and who you are, but kind of constantly. I think people that they'll remember or tomorrow. I think it's a consistent, like, you need to continually tell them who you are, what you do, how you.
100%. All too often people do something once and they think it's going to work. And honestly, I think it takes anywhere from 6 to 8 interactions with someone the first time to even get them to do something, to interact with you in some kind of capacity. So 6 different ads, 6 different pieces of content, whatever it takes for them. I mean, I'm sure plenty of people have seen me in their feeds and they don't stop, but this is the time where you're going to be like, stop.
Yeah.
Because you could be doing something amazing. You could have an amazing product or service or business or brand or whatever. But if you can't get those people to stop the first time, then it doesn't matter. And I think all too often people are missing that point, and they're producing really nice ads or really nice content or a really nice business. But if they can't get that person to look up from their screen, to look over at their car, like, they're not going to get that attention. And I think that marketing piece is really what marketing is first, getting that person's attention. And so what are some creative ways that you've been a part of or have seen that you enjoy that get people to kind of look up?
Number one. So if you were really good at 5 things, pick one. And successful ways of getting in their face, I mean, you got to get out there. And sometimes it takes a little extra hustle, but you got to put something out there. For example, the whole Bandit thing for 1 hour. And we understand. Sometimes you just have to ignore the haters and just keep going because it's doing it.
Got to be the anomaly.
Mm-hmm.
So Bandit, when I talked to Todd many months ago, I was interested in the whole Bandit thing. I had never noticed Bandit before. So Bandit is like this, I don't know, white trash redneck from a competitor of 1 hour. And the idea is that, I don't know, what is the idea behind it? Why is Bandit what he is?
I think he gets a bad rep. He is supposed to kind of personify someone who starts their own business but doesn't necessarily have the know-how. Is not as sophisticated as Todd and the 1 hour business. He just doesn't necessarily know the right way to do it. And he is intelligent and he knows how to fix things and do things. Socially doesn't really understand, like, part of it, and just kind of wants to get it done, but on his time. Whereas we are on your time, we're working for you kind of thing. He is a nice guy, and we aren't trying to make fun of rednecks, I promise.
So you just said something that's interesting. I think he gets a bad rep, right? And so before that you said, know what your customers want, know what your customers are looking for. Yet that's kind of twisted, right? Where what they are thinking, how they feel, how they are consuming what you're doing isn't necessarily on par as to what you guys are actually trying to accomplish.
With Bandit?
Yes.
Well, I mean, we kind of show them who else could potentially be at their house, like worst case scenario.
No, that's fair. John Mullen says, good morning. Thanks for sharing this valuable information. Well, thank you, John, for being here. Zack Miller Live, episode 12. We also got Joel, Joan, Justin, Kenya on as well. Thank you guys for being here. We are here and delighted to have Lauren Smith, the marketing coordinator of 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. That's a handful to say or a mouthful to say.
Yes, it is.
So did you go to school for marketing?
Yes.
And what do you...
To Ball State University. Chirp, chirp.
Where?
Ball State University.
Ah, the good old David Letterman School.
Yes.
So what did you learn in school? Jed Smith says, awesome interview. I think I know why he believes that. So when you went to school, did it put you in a good position to really put you in like kind of the real world scenario, or what did you have to do to really start to learn kind of what gets noticed?
For no fault of the school, I learned as much as I could, and I did that for the first 10 years of working, just kind of taking everything in until I really kind of decided what I wanted to do and where I wanted to be. And I guess just through all that, kind of figured out what worked and what didn't work with customers and clients. And I wasn't a marketing coordinator forever. I kind of did traffic and production and behind the scenes stuff to make sure other good. But now I'm client side, so now it's kind of my job to make that happen.
Very cool. Are you from Indiana? Have you ever been to? I feel like I've asked you this before. Have you ever been to Santa Claus in Holiday World?
Yeah.
What?
My grandmother used to send Christmas cards through Santa Claus stamp, so that's really the only thing I know. Besides, I know Holiday World's out there.
So my major goal in life, from a business perspective, is to be the majority owner of an amusement park. And Holiday World is like one of those fun mom and pop. It's actually decently big now, and they have some really popular roller coasters. But I went there, I believe, my senior year of high school. I drove all the way from Virginia to Santa Claus, Indiana. Isn't Indiana one of those places that doesn't do daylight savings time?
We do now, except
you guys are such rebels.
the heck out of me.
And me as well. Daylight savings time is such an odd thing. Understanding marketing. So how someone that's a noob or someone that's trying to control their marketing a little bit better, get better at that marketing, what are some strategies that they could do or best practices to really start getting attention when they might not have been at this point?
For noobs, I suggest networking. I'd network and meet as many other people. Everyone's just kind of talking. We're all a bunch of marketers, and someone said SEO, and she goes, and to me, I'm like, oh, that is search engine optimization. Like, at first I was like, I'm not sure how you didn't know that, but then, I mean, you kind of wonder, it's a huge thing and covers as like, there and kind of, you don't have to be a professional or an expert in everything, but I mean, learn as much as you can and take it all in so you can kind of see how it works together. And for me, the best way to do that is just to network and meet people and learn from them.
When SEO is such a challenging thing, it's something that's changing all the time. And I mean, not everything really has the capabilities that does, but you have to learn how to do it. And it can be just a real big pain in the tail. Good morning, Stanley Sparrow. Hope you're doing well. Hit us up with your questions. You guys have them in the comments. Thank you all for being here. We're here with Lauren Smith, who's a marketing coordinator. So when you are a nobody, or when you're going to become someone more, or just grow as a person, when you network, what's your strategy?
Go with a friend. Because shockingly, I'm painfully shy in crowds.
Because why?
I'm just painfully shy in crowds, or used to be. I'm better now. But no, when I can, I try to see who else is going. Thankfully for now, you can kind of who else is attending, so you can kind of seek out who you want to see. Because I think I've told you this before, but when I worked in Norfolk a couple years ago, people I wanted to meet in some capacity, and Zack Miller was on my list. And you and I had breakfast downtown one day, or lunch or something, and we chatted. But I kind of set a goal for people I want to meet and just how to get to them, and I guess where they are.
I mean, I can understand why I was on that list. I mean, Not to be all confident, but I mean, I am amazing. And
You were
so,
making waves in Norfolk, so I had to
waves.
meet you.
There you go. How did you first learn about me? Was it Jess?
I think Jess told me about you, and then I just was doing research when I was at Reed and Associates, and I'd always worked in, that was my only job that I worked in Norfolk, so I just felt like I needed to learn more about Norfolk in general.
There you go. Dusty Williams is here. Dennis Gray as well. For all of my friends that are business owners that are on Facebook all day, it is pretty interesting to see why they get no work done. So stick with the show while you're watching. But when you call me and complain about why you can't make money, this is what I'm going to tell you. Get off Facebook. No, I'm kidding. So I have an interesting personality. And I think 1 hour kind of gives off that interesting personality. That's not your boring status quo type of thing. When a brand is thinking about putting that kind of personalization or that personality to it, that might not be standard. And maybe they're a little on the fence about, should we do this or not? What would you say to that?
Get everyone's buy-in and just go for it. Again, you're going to have some people that don't like it, but you can't everyone and can't sell to everyone. Not everyone wants your product or your service or anything else. So you need to find, but I think everyone on your team being 100% in it.
And when those debates happen and someone isn't all on board, what do you do?
Talk through it. We actually 1 hour just recently read the 5 Dysfunctions of a Team. And that was part of it, was like getting that stuff out in the open. I mean, that's part of just painfully honest with each other and getting on the same page and understanding whether you agree or not. And you don't have to all agree, but if you can come to the agreement of why you wanting to do that or how it benefits that, I mean, get to some common ground.
If you guys have questions, feel free to ask them in the comments. We've got Lauren Smith here. We can talk about marketing, talk about business. We can talk about anything you guys want. I'm finally having a good hair day again. I feel like it's day 2 of the week. Yesterday I was a little scared, but no, I mean, this is like the personality piece that I'm talking about, right? Getting that in there, I think, is so important. So it's not the same thing. And you saw my anomaly video or I think you did, where I start. And the whole idea, and I'm pretty proud of myself because I actually produced that video where I was like, I want to be this stiff, boring guy in a suit to start. And I was like, hello, I'm Zack Miller and I have an important message. Like, it wasn't even that good. Like, every time I watch it, it gets me. I was like, oh, that's good. So is that my hook then? Was that my hook to get people? Like, what made you keep watching that video that I put together?
You told me for like a week that you had a big announcement, so...
So the tease is important. So what do you think about teasing then in that kind of case?
I thought that was good. I mean, you do a lot of good things in this area anyway, so I was intrigued as to what it was. And since I know personality, you could have you built happen. So I was in. Okay,
for those of you watching, I'm going to do that. I'm going to do a big announcement with like some sort of, maybe it'll be like a sock deal or something where like I got my face on socks or something. That could be fun. Ooh. Would you, here in the comments, let me know if I put together that logo over there on a sock, would you buy it? And how many pairs would you buy? Because that sounds amazing. Like, think about it. Dennis says,
like, that's one thing that like business people, men, like, you can't go too crazy funky with your clothes. So I know my husband has a handful.
But you can on your socks.
Oh, yeah.
I would say probably the first season of Hampton Roads Business Weekly, I decided to, by the way, we need to get Todd on now that I'm thinking about that. I bought all these like fancy socks, not like dress socks, like ridiculous socks, like stupid patterns and like just ridiculous things. And then now, like, they're so hard to, like, match together, I just wear 2 different socks. Now, apparently that's what the kids are doing now, too.
That sounds cool.
Yeah, so right now I'm wearing 2 mismatched socks. And then I'll go to the gym and I'll have 2 mixed-matched socks on. And they're, like, shin socks. I don't care. Like, I'm not embarrassed by it. People probably look at me, who is this idiot? And I'm like, whatever. Like, Dennis says... He's multitasking. So good, Dennis. I appreciate that. SEO versus pay-per-click, Facebook marketing, et cetera, et cetera. Where is the trend heading? What's working? What's not working? What do you think, Lauren?
I think it depends on what you're doing. I mean,
so he has a pest control business in the Hamptons area.
I mean, you need to kind of evaluate what you've been doing. And what I think a lot of people do is they do it long enough to see results. I don't think you can let it go for a week and then try to measure it. Have to put the nurturing it and kind of messing with it a little bit and tweak it and let it run for a month and then look back and see where the success came from.
So that's interesting. So sticking with it. Now, I agree that the first thing that you should do is see what's working already. So I say that's like take an inventory of the stuff that you're doing. On yesterday's show, we were talking about, like if you're doing 10 things and 9 of them suck, but one of them's doing well, but overall the package doesn't seem like it's going that well, but that one thing is actually doing well. Think about taking that other, the money or the attention that you were putting on those 9 things and put on that one thing and see what happens, right? And so with Bandit, you guys were using an agency, maybe you still are, out of Austin. And Todd was told it was going to take at least 12 months before it would start working. And I remember him saying on an earlier edition of the 1004 show, he said, I didn't really know what I was getting into when I did it. But I remember that in the 11th month, I called them going, what's going on? Like, we got to do something. And the guy goes, I told you it's going to take a year. And then apparently in the middle of that 11th month, the phone started ringing. And so it's so crazy. Now I feel like I'd never seen the commercial now. Now I see it all the time. Like I love that one Christmas one where he came in, you were in the video. I mean, I was like, oh, that's so good. So for someone like Dennis, though, that has a pest control business, Dennis, what are you doing right now from a marketing perspective? Are you doing content in any of those places? Are you doing SEO, pay-per-click, fake marketing? You know, I think if you look at a business like a 1 hour, you look at a business like a Pool Scouts or or Accurate, like your business. Brain fart on what your name of your business is, Dennis. Sorry. But if you look at other similar kind of blue collar businesses, I think you can give yourself an opportunity to say, okay, what are those other businesses doing that seems to be working? And is there something in my wheelhouse that I can be producing something like that? No, you can't replicate the exact same thing as them, but you can look at it and say, okay, this is a guide. It looks like people in this world are consuming something like this. Is there something where I can be the anomaly in that too and figure that out? And so, Dennis, Dennis has some interesting things. His funky car that's like green. He's got a little rodent on the, maybe there's a play on that. What do you think about that, Lauren?
Yeah, I definitely find what stands out, and just we actually this morning named Jackie Huba, being a bold brand, and her about drag queens. She was a big fan of RuPaul's. She herself became a drag queen, which I think was called I forget what it was called, but a female drag queen. But one of her things was like find that one you and like triple down, like that's what makes you, like, we all could do the same stuff. Like there's 100 more in Hampton Roads, but like the 3 or 4 that you know of, like think about why you know their name or other ones that are out there.
It's very true. So I wrote a blog post many years ago. Arnell Teniag is with us today. Thank you. And it was after I went to a drag brunch with, I guess, my wife, my brother, and a couple other people. And what's the one in Virginia Beach? Do you know what I'm talking about?
Drag Yourself to Brunch.
At Crocs, yeah. And so it's interesting. So they do 2 a day, or 2 every Sunday, and they basically sell out. And so this is where kind of innovation on something can be so not what you think. But I would look at this drag brunch as an innovation. And so whether you are into drag or not, against it, whatever, it doesn't matter. They took this concept of, hey, we're not getting a lot of people in the door on Sunday between these hours, or at least that's what it seems like, right? So between 11 and 4 o'clock, no one's really coming to our restaurant. What's something that we can do by leveraging another community and bringing them into our doors? And so now, how many people do you think fit in that place? 100 or so? Yeah. I mean, they pack them in, and every ticket, like the drinks aren't cheap, so it's like $12 a hit. So it's got like super organic food, so it's like $14 a hit. So everyone's spending money, and they're bringing. There's a line out the door, and so it's just by leveraging another community. It's been so powerful. That's the kind of the paint mindset, right? I mean, how stupid of a concept can something be? But so many people are consuming it, and it's just popular. So maybe in your business, no matter what it is, you can figure out how you can leverage another community, and I think that's a good way to get people in. So you do a lot of All right, hold on. Dennis has a response. Yes, the previous SEO company we used did well for us until the last 6 months. Now, not so much. Boom goes the dynamite. Ooh, that's a Ball State guy.
Yeah, boom goes the dynamite as a Ball State guy.
That's awesome. Oh, I love that thing. We are looking to use another SEO company and add pay-per-click, email, and Facebook marketing to the mix. So, Lauren, we'll get your feedback in a second. The only thing I'd be opposed to, Dennis, is making sure that you can really single out which one of those is actually working, and so that if you pull one out, you don't disregard information, you get misleading information. And that's kind of the whole thing I was talking about before, where you just want to make sure you know what your data is really telling you. And so I know early on in Facebook, the only thing they cared about was users. It's probably still the only thing they really care about. And so that's that one metric that they want to track. And so just careful that whatever you're doing with all of those pieces, and all of them are fine, definitely businesses can use all of them together. Just make sure you know that at the end of the day, which ones are working, which ones aren't, so that you can then double down on this. Lauren?
I would say do a content audit too. I mean, you can do a lot of that stuff, but if you don't have a lot of good information and if it's not set up correctly, shooting yourself in the foot trying to like spit out all this stuff through emails and apps and share it on social if people aren't just getting it. So maybe go back and look at what you have to share and just make sure it's shareable information.
What do you mean by a content audit, or deep dive more into what you were just saying?
Blogs in your website, information you're trying to share beyond like the services and stuff that you do. Like what are you giving to consumers for them to kind of take in and consume to want to work with you? Rather than just like if you have a special or thing that like, why are you different and what just the regular service that another company has, and how do they know that? If that kind of information isn't on the website, then I'm not sure what's being shared. And I haven't seen any of his stuff, so I'm not sure.
So we live in a world where everyone wants everything for free, or a lot of people want things for free, or there are certain things that people want for free. But we all want to stand out, and I think that we forget to promote ourselves a lot. So kind of in that whole mindset of what you were just saying, where and when can people start pitching their actual business instead of just the content side of it?
To me, subconscious secondary thing. Like they were talking about it yesterday. Like you don't walk up to someone and ask them to marry, and the doctor doesn't come in and you need surgery to you or gets to know you or has a little bit of a relationship with you. And I think that just building that and what you do, which then kind of defines who you are and like how you do it. So I think you can sell nowadays can see through some of that and just what you can do.
What's your favorite kind of promo campaign or ad that you've seen at 1 hour?
At 1 hour? What is our favorite promo? We don't do a whole lot of promos. We may have something coming up next week.
Ooh.
Not new socks, not books. But we don't. Thing is, that's not really our gimmick. Is like, oh, low price, blah blah blah. Which I'm saying as we're having now. But that's one thing I like about our company is we focus.
But what about from like an ad perspective that you liked from a content perspective that did well? Like, was it the ad where you guys got rid of Bandit and then came back and that just had like this really emotional piece to it?
Those are pretty funny. Yeah. Just the email on social media had nothing to do with heating and air conditioning, but we got so many responses just from the lack of Bandit on TV and radio.
So sad. So, spoiler alert real quick. In Stranger Things, episode 8, season 2, when 11 comes back and she's like badass 11, and the guys are thinking about shooting her and they don't know when the dogs are coming in, and that reveal, that was so good. Like,
that was really good.
Like how do you story tell and story develop in what you're doing to get such a big reaction like something like that?
You got to prepare. Some of that planning at least Bandit, that plan was probably 9 months out, talked about. getting ready for that. And I think we could have done a little bit more with it, but we didn't take advantage of it, just because life happens.
Sure.
But I think that stuff, that's how you make it happen. And again, people say or don't say, or if they don't respond, like, whatever, just enjoy yourself.
That's interesting. I like that too, right? You know, try and get the people that are engaging with you, positive or negative, and figure out why. So you talked a little bit about networking, and I know that you're kind of big on meetups and events. You're at an event right now. Like, why should someone attend that, and are they looking for clients there? Are they looking to educate? What do you do when you're at a conference or a meetup?
I think some people here are doing everything. And then in Hampton Roads, and same kind of thing. I mean, we're trying to get people to come out just to network and meet each other for collaborations. If you're looking for a job, if you just want to have another connection for someone that's going through the same pain that you're going through in your job, and seeing how they grew it. I mean, there's a bunch of different reasons. And again, just learning, like Hannah Tech Arc. I love having her at the events.
Very cool. Who's the keynote there?
The keynote, I don't know. This morning it was the Jackie Huba. She was the keynote this morning, but there was like workshops yesterday. There's like 20 different people talking today at different.
Very cool. I'm putting my name in the hat to be the keynote there next year. So anyone from High Five watching, get ready, because I'm coming in a year.
I'll drop your name around.
Bam! Appreciate that, love. What's something about you, Lauren Smith, that most people don't know?
That they don't know?
Yeah.
That's a really good question.
You know, I am the best interviewer in the world, so you should expect really good questions here.
So I can be, which I don't think people expect, but I love extreme things. I've been skydiving.
What's that feeling like? So I've never done it. And is the first drop the hard part, or after the free fall stops and you're kind of actually in the, I don't know,
jumping? I remember talking to the guy, because it was tandem, of course, because they don't just teach you and then throw you out the window. But I was strapped to this guy, I forget his name, and as we're we just go, and then we went. And you're supposed to do like this bend back. I got the photo package, so there's a photo of me, arms and legs like sprawled, like I had no. 30 seconds of free fall was just insane. And then you just float down, just look at everything, and just hang out and be on top of the world. I mean, it was awesome. It was terrifying, but it was awesome.
Yeah, that's something I want to do. I've ridden a lot of roller coasters. I've done a lot of like weird things from that, but my wife jumped out of a plane on her brother's 18th birthday or something, so like 3 or 4 years ago, and I was terrified that she was gonna die. Like, she had to go solo, so her brother went, and then they came down, and then she had to go, so she was the only one there, and so that was not very fun, apparently.
I called my mom after, and because I knew I'd catch hell if I told her.
I heard when it actually pulls you up, like, so when you, I said umbrella before, I don't know why I said that, it's stupid, whatever the parachute is, when you pull the plug, pull the cord, apparently that's like the most painful piece.
It's like a big wet.
Nice.
And it's freezing up there. I mean, it's cold and 15,000 feet in the air.
Sure. Well, I went whale watching once many, many years ago, and they were like, not that this is extreme in any kind of way, but they're like, bring a jacket. It was like the middle of summer, and it was freezing out there. Like, come 10, 15, 20 miles out, like, it gets so cold. She said yes after she landed. Vicky said that. Jed says the DJ at Drag Yourself to Brunch is the best. Is he the DJ?
My DJ is the best. He is correct. Right. If you go to Drag Yourself to Brunch, amazing, but look at the DJ booth, because he is having the time of his life.
I think people should be happy, and all too often people are not happy with their lives, and I'm excited that Mike is happy in that kind of scenario.
Oh, he's so happy.
What's something that's on your bucket list that you haven't been able to do yet?
Travel to Europe.
Any specific place there?
Not really. Country, what I officially consider out of the country twice. I went to Costa Rica for my honeymoon and then to Dominican Republic with 1 hour, like a celebratory team event last year.
Costa Rica, I've gone there too. That place is amazing.
Yes.
So people, obviously, I just wrote a book called Anomaly: How to Finally Stand Out from the Crowd. And it's really about doing something that's weird to get someone's attention that ultimately is looking for you anyway. What's something recently that made you stop and actually be like, whoa, that was really good, and then maybe even buy what they were selling?
What?
Me?
We're connected on LinkedIn. I've talked to you on the phone.
Live.
We are live.
Live.
I'm leaving. Goodbye.
Usually it's something funky, or Cameron Village, place here in Raleigh. I had some time to kill, so I was like walking around there. I didn't buy anything because stuff was pretty pricey. This way.
That's funny. Zack Miller Live, episode 12. We're here with Lauren Smith, the marketing coordinator at 1 Hour Heating and Air Conditioning. Anyone else have any other questions? I know Lauren has a busy day at...
Minus my mother and my husband. They're not allowed to ask anything.
Oh, Vicky is... Your mom. Good. That's cute. My mom likes to pop these every once in a while, too. And she's like, hi, it's your mom. And I'm like, hello, Mom. How's it going? My dad does that, too. Love their support. But...
Absolutely.
Actually, that's an interesting point. So let's end on this, unless there's other questions. So when I call it the mom effect. So growing up, my mom thought I was an amazing singer. So I, at the same time, think that I'm an amazing singer. And so in 7th grade, I try out for chorus. It's kind of like American Idol. What's the guy's name? Simon Cowell was sitting there. It wasn't really Simon, but someone that I'll call Simon.
Like show choir?
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
And so I start singing. And the guy or the girl, I don't remember who it was, they're like, no, you're terrible. And so my entire life, my mom had told me that I was this great singer, but she wasn't my target customer. She was just doing what moms are supposed to do, which is say nice things to you. And so how does someone understand that their friends and family are valuable, but they aren't necessarily giving you the correct kind of validated answer that you're looking for with business?
Kevin Gaydosh, who works at O'Brien et al. Advertising, tell everyone this, which kind of relates. He does PR there, and he always says it's hard to tell someone that they have an ugly baby.
Right.
Or like, you can't say that. Even your best, you have an ugly baby, like deep down. Like, they should be able to give you the hard truth and talk to you about stuff. But I think, again, back to the networking, getting in groups and like you evaluate people's the BS of someone who's just like, I know my mom thinks everything I do is great as well, and it is. To have someone every now and then that doesn't, but you need to think you're.
Yeah, totally. My mom, I actually told her this story 2 years ago. And she was like, but you are a good singer. And I'm like, Mom, I'm not. Lauren, if people want to check you out, where can they check you out?
I don't know if there's like a fancy thing there, but Lauren Smith on LinkedIn.
There you go. Check it out.
And then 1 Hour, you can follow us on 1 Hour Air. I'm the social media person, so I'm the one posting.
Awesome. Appreciate your time today, Lauren. Thank you all for your comments and feedback. We'll see you guys on the next edition, which is tomorrow. So, hope you all have a wonderful day. Lauren, thank you for your time. Enjoy the rest of your day at the conference. Peace.